Welcome to TradingTheNBA.com. This is John. This report is for the 11th of April. Well, yesterday coming back off the Easter break, well, we started off pretty weak, but didn't take long for bulls to flip it around and bring it right back to the upper area of it. When we look at from an NBI standpoint, it was the flattening of the NBI magenta and the NBI yellow staying above 33, even though the magenta had dipped below, was not great and literally put us in a precarious spot, particularly coming off of DOC spread. What we weren't getting was any real carry through from shorts. You can see the NBI weight here was doing nothing, and this is what we pointed out, that it just wasn't likely to do it. You could have even referred down here to the shakeout, that rising gold. Uh, Again, once you're above 50% rising gold net, usually you get a move to the 100%. Just to throw that one in there, happens 80-some% of the time. From an NQ standpoint, that's been the leader and definitely was again. Came right back to the 76% Morganacci line there and then popped right back up. And again, likewise, we were seeing a little more short activation there, and I think that's why the drawdown a little bit was a little more extreme. But as I pointed out before, that dip of steel on the DOC dipping below 13, but coming back above the negative 13.5. So when it dips below the negative 13.5, it's effectively coming over the top. Once it moves back above, it's a complete reset right there. So sure enough, that was all it took, and slightly on the positive side to start pre-market so far. Treasuries, recognition that rates are actually much higher than they were back in December may have caught some people's attention. But when you have the massive amount of money flocking into treasuries, and that there's just that yield drops, there's nothing you can do about that. It just supply and demand issue. The fact that so many people are wanting to jump in there tells you something. They think that this opportunity to capture rates that they haven't seen in many years. It's true, but it doesn't mean they're all that great. From an oil standpoint, yeah, that's starting to look pretty consistent. Almost as though someone wanted to peg a certain range there, and it looks like the Saudi oil cut that worked very beautiful, right in line. But again, that's doesn't help with the inflation picture and the question about stagflation and whether or not you get waning growth and continued inflation, along with just inability for any kind of like move out of deficit spending, and that's really going to be the killer. You're just going to have to keep printing more and more to fuel it, and at some point you have to stop because it just becomes ridiculous. But clearly they're not at that point. And TradeStation collapsing again. Gold on the rise. Euro same. Bitcoin also jumping dramatically. So these are all powerful moves from cryptos in that. And that's going to do it. So there you have it. That's the long and the short of it. We'll see if I can get this TS figured out and go from there. Trade well.